Hello everybody, welcome. It's that time again, time for the Super 16. We're just going to take a couple of minutes here to make sure that our player is ready and to make sure everyone has arrived. Hey, look at all the familiar faces, that's great. Let me know if the background music is too loud or anything. Yeah, I'm excited. It's always fun putting this list together. As usual, it was myself and Hugh Ariel who put this list together. And we had some help from Kuchiri in the testing and some other people who got their input on this, and I appreciate that. So if we didn't actually come up with a list and I just took the first 16 games to be typed in the chat, what would the list be? I'm curious. I'm not saying that that's what we're doing, but I'm not saying that that's not what we're doing. Haha. Oh, some good ones. How is that possible? That's literally the list. Did it get leaked or something? This is a very unlikely scenario here. All right. All right, well, let me first give the rundown on what this is. It looks like our player is ready. We'll get the rundown on what this is, and then we'll start going with the reveal here. So this is the Super 16 race. It is a race of 16 Super Nintendo games. This is the 6th one that we've done. We've done 5 so far, and we're continuing this tradition. This is a race that's open to anyone who wants to participate. You have 8 weeks. The race itself is going to be happening June 11th, starting at noon Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Eastern, or 6 p.m. European Time. And it's open to anyone who wants. We're going to be using racetime.gg for this, so just go to that site and link your account, or link your Twitch or your Discord up or something like that, and there you go. You're on that site. And you can sign up in advance if you want. We have a list. If you go to speedgaming.org /super16, you'll find a link to the participants list on there, and you can sign up if you want. It's not required that you do that, but we will. People can refer to that list just to see who's playing in case they want to just see who's declared interest in it and check out their streams while they practice over the next 2 months here. So that would be a thing I'd suggest. But the important thing is that on the 11th, show up on race time. We'll open up the room maybe about an hour before the race starts, and just show up and join that race. That's all you have to do. In addition to practicing and stuff. Sometimes people do this blind. If you want to try to do this set blind, I'm not really sure what would be showstoppers. There's got to be something, I'm sure, that would be pretty tricky, but if you're looking to do it blind, you're also welcome to. It should be, usually these lists are somewhat doable under those circumstances. But typically we expect that people are going to put in some practice, and usually the top finishers of these races finish in somewhere between 3 and 4 hours. It kind of depends. I feel like this is going to be a little bit longer than the typical list, so maybe allocate yourself a little more time. But usually most people are done by, most people who have practiced are done by about the 6 hour mark, the 5 hour mark, really. The 5 hours usually gets most people. All right, so in general, you are allowed to just run through the rules here. You can play on emulator or original cartridge or flash cart. We don't really mind. You can play on your SNES Mini if you want. For each of the games, we ask that you use the North American version of it, or the U version of it. I think in this one, there's no one in particular that we want to use the Japanese version for, or something like that. But all the goals will start from the beginning of the game, and they will go up to and including the thing that's specified. So if I say something like level 3, You know, you can't just jump to level 3. You've got to beat everything up to and including level 3. Let's see. In general, we're going to allow all glitches unless we specifically say in the rules that, you know, you can't use a certain glitch, or we're following a certain glitch rule set for this game. But in general, glitches are fine. In general, we're not allowing cheat codes, except for codes that allow you to have more lives, more continues, or to stage select to return to a place where you died. So kind of like a quasi-continue. So only things that allow people to just keep making progress with lives and continues is the only things that we allow. We don't want people to be roadblocked. We want you to be able to just keep moving through the games. You know, dying and game overing is already penalty enough that we don't need you to be starting again from the beginning of the game when something goes badly for you. If the game has options to increase the number of lives or increase the number of continues, some games have a menu for that, then that is allowed, because like I said, we just want people to be able to keep moving through these. We don't allow turbo, obviously, and lastly, we have a 45-second gap in between the games, so just so people who are using different methods are all kind of on the same footing. It gives you time to configure your controls or whatever you need to do for that game. But basically, you have a little timer for yourself. Maybe make an extra split in between each of the normal splits that just shows 45 seconds, just to sort of help you time that out in your head, however you want to do that. And I believe we are ready. So without further ado, I'm going to kick off the reveal here. So we have, here, I'll tell him to go. So we have demoing the games for us today. We have Yug Ariel, who helped me put this list together and who's going to graciously play through these games. So let's go. It'll take him a moment to get going, I think, here. Yeah, if you have an uncle that works at Nintendo, you probably already know what this list is, so don't spoil it for everyone else. I'm hearing sounds, but I don't see anything. Well, we already got the music. Little technical difficulties here. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So, yeah, first game, as at least one person has guessed here, we have Ghoul Patrol. Now, we did Zombies Ate My Neighbors at some point in this event, and I thought that it was pretty cool. Let's turn it down a little bit. And so we're kind of moving up the chain here with Ghoul Patrol. The goal is to beat the second boss, and as with all these goals, when we say something like, you know, second boss, we mean up to and including second boss. Zombies re-ate my neighbors. Yeah, I think this is fun. I like the perspective on this game. I like this like top-down action style game. I think the Super Nintendo does have a bunch of really good ones, and this is probably one of the more different ones. I mean, you think of like Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore, things like that when you think of these, you know, top-down action games, but this one is a little bit more mazy and a little bit more focused on, you know, the key collection and your items and whatnot. But yeah, this can be really challenging. I think this one and Zombies Ate My Neighbors are both kind of tough for people who are just trying to play it blind, but I don't know. We'll see what people do. Yeah, I think this will be good. So in general for these games, we tried to stick to just a certain range of time in the release schedule of the Super Nintendo games. So we're going not exactly in order, but we're trying to kind of have some cohesion for what period of time we're talking about. So you might start to see a pattern if you you know, are paying attention to the games in the list. And this is not, you're not watching speed runs. Our demoer here is has not practiced any of these games other than to, you know, test goals and things like that. So I don't know, I think this is a pretty charming game. Link to the Past in Super 16. Yeah, it was in the very first one, I believe. Right? Wasn't that one of the release games, or one of the launch games? Pretty sure that, yeah, in our first Super 16 race we hit the 5 main launch titles. Yeah, you're welcome to title your split for this game however you want. Oh, Yogara was really getting into it. We were supposed to only play 2 minutes, but I think he must be having a good time here. Yeah, Super 16 race. 16 Super Nintendo games. Happening June 11th. Got 8 weeks to learn some Super Nintendo games. And by the way, sign up for SNES Superstars. SNES Superstars Marathon is open for sign-ups, so go to it. Go to the Oengus site. Gosh, I don't think I have a list in the link in the chat here, but if someone wants to post the SNES Superstars link, sign-up link in there, that'd be great, because that is going to be coming up. Yeah. Where Hulk has the world record count. I'm afraid that that's going to be the case for a lot of these. For a lot of these, but you know what? That doesn't necessarily mean... Okay, next game here. Oh, it's already been given away by the title screen, but there we go. We have Fatal Fury 2. So this is interesting. This is always tricky, putting a game like this in a race and doing it in a speedrun setting, but we've got Fatal Fury 2 here. We're going to allow any difficulty level. We noticed that the speedruns tend to either be on the easiest or the hardest difficulty level, rather than like the default that the game starts at. And so rather than try to like limit people to just doing one specific thing, you can choose the difficulty level that you want. In some fighting games, there's an advantage of having a higher AI level because it makes the AI more consistent. I don't know if that's the case in this one, but that'll be kind of for you to experiment. But beat 3 opponents. Don't feel bad if you use really cheese out moves. Sometimes that's what one has to do in a speedrun. Can I get some more of those awesome sound effects, please? Oh. Oh gosh. Yeah, we got to get our fighting game in here, because Super Nintendo, it was just kind of the age of fighting games of this style. So you gotta represent that. Fart. Just squint your eyes. It's basically Street Fighter. It's usually a fighting game. I hadn't noticed that pattern, but we do tend to put the fighting games early because they're usually short. We don't want people to we want the shorter games at the beginning and the longer games at the end. That's generally how we do things. So yeah, you probably would see the fighting games towards the beginning in these races in general. Yeah, as the list goes on, the games are going to get longer and more difficult. So just a little bit of a spoiler there. It only gets harder from here. Some Killer Instinct. That's like, I don't know if that's this era. I think that was a really late release in the SNES life cycle. That was on into like PlayStation era, I think. That it was like one of the later SNES releases, wasn't it? You have to play the games in order. Yes, that is the important thing. That is an important thing. We do want you to play the games in order. And that just makes it much easier to keep track of who's on what game, and to make sure that no one has skipped one, because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of players and a lot of games, so just to make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to, we are doing these in order. All right, what's the next game going to be? I actually don't remember what we put third here, so it'll be a surprise to me as well. Oh. Only quality games in this event. Only quality games. It's Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City. Only top quality games. Look at that, a fiery basketball and an icy basketball. It's got comic book cutscenes. Anyway, the default difficulty on this is Rookie, so just play at the default difficulty. And we're beating Cells. Kind of this first section here. It's no NBA Jam, but I think you'll all appreciate it. The lifelike graphics. I think this is supposed to be some sort of like fantastic reality here, though. I think this is not. I don't think there's normally zombies involved in basketball, but I actually don't know. I've never really been a professional basketball player, so it could be at that level, zombies. It was Space Jam. It's actually the precursor to Space Jam. That's right. Anyway, I think this is fun. It's pretty fast moving. I like a platformer where you can shooting and platforming with elevators and doors. Basketball hoops all over the place. Yeah, we might actually get Michael Jordan for commentary. We have reached out to him, but we'll see. I know he is in chat. I know Michael Jordan is in chat, but I don't know if that means that we're going to get MJ on commentary. We might.
Sweet.
Basketballvania. Yeah, I mean, it is that kind of game, I suppose. Okay, what's next? Oh yeah, okay. This next one I think is going to be really interesting. This is always one of my favorite games as a kid. It's Uniracers. Going to be quite a bit different than a lot of the other games on this list. And we're doing the Crawler Tour. Beat the Crawler Tour. Yeah. Get those rolls. Yeah, you build up speed by doing the tricks. I actually have no idea what the speedrun strats are for this, but maybe it's something just like this flip and roll. Or twist and flip. Roll, twist, roll. It's kind of a tutorial just to show how what you do affects your speed. Yeah, this is kind of a fun game. I mean, even just in a non-speedrun context, this is a really interesting game. World record, I know, right? Whoa. Sonic the Unicycle. It does kind of look like that, especially with everything being all checkerboardy. Yeah, I definitely get that vibe. If you told me this was a Sega game and I didn't know better, I'd probably believe you. Yeah, it'll be close. Sometimes these games are such that you know, the difference between an okay run and a highly optimized run are, you know, not very much time-wise. Part of the challenge of this race is just endurance and just learning, you know, the amount of content to be able to play the games, at least, you know, somewhat well from a speedrun perspective. Even if we're not looking at huge time savings for doing the top tier strats. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weird ones in this list this time around. This section of time that we're looking at for these games is kind of a strange time in the SNES, you know, release history, but so it's gonna be some weird ones. Coming up next, man, these title screens spoil it right away, or these pre-title screens. But we have a game called Pocky and Rocky 2. Yeah, so this is neat. This is a neat game. Pretty different than a lot of the games that you see people speedrunning from this console. It's kind of a, I don't know, I say Akari Warriors type game, but basically top-down shoot 'em up, I guess you'd call it. Get ready. There's probably a lot to be done in terms of lag management here. It is cool that you have a little friend who goes with you. Just like a good shmup, you do need to have a little, you know, second thing to help you out with shooting. Those explosions. Good old Mode 7. What can't you do with that? As Mystical Ninja? It might be. It does have a very similar aesthetic to it. I agree. Couch co-op. Yeah. That is one of the cool things about this, is that co-op, right? Charm. I can attacked by all kinds of weird creatures here. Oh, and it is in there. Yeah. So the goal here is just to beat stage 4 at normal difficulty level. I think normal is the default difficulty when you just start this game up. So we're beating stage 4, up to and including stage 4. The ingredients will be you. I love it. Like these big boss sprites that shake and flash colors. It's just got a real arcadey kind of feel to it, like an arcade boss. Now, of course, we start jumping because we've been hit too many times. We go into the annoying part of the boss fight. Yep. Oh, we're almost there. Right. Yeah, good respawn. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Nice job. And that was stage 2, I guess. So yeah, not a very long goal. I think people will enjoy this one. Okay, this next game, I actually hadn't played this until we started considering it for this race. What is it, though? Oh, there we go. It's Mickey's Ultimate Challenge. Right? Okay, and we're playing on cake difficulty. Cake. Any percent cake. And the goal is to beat the game. Whole game. Full game run of cake. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is there's so many Disney licensed games on Super Nintendo. I mean, you're almost bound to run into one, and they're usually pretty good. Fast-moving platformer. Look how fast we're moving. It's a speed stroller. Puzzle game, more or less. Oop. Yeah, we did Magic Quest. It's very good. It's a very good game. This game doesn't really feel much like that one, but I do think that this will be interesting from a speedrun perspective. Yeah, a lot of variety to this game. I think this one will be enjoyable. Uh-oh. I think that Donald Duck face is really creepy. Although, yeah, I know the block pushing and whatnot. Absolutely. Okay, and what's next? Check here. Okay. So this is a really weird game. I don't know. I find this to be a really weird game because it's kind of, well, let's wait till we start playing it before I give my opinions here. But it's X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. It's a Capcom game. That's almost always a good sign. Marvel Studios. Sort of rough. Yeah, that was our thought on this too, is that this is going to be probably one of the more challenging ones in this list. But anyway, it's kind of a mix between like a beat 'em up game and a platformer. I mean, it's not a it's only a 2D as opposed to like a 2.5D where you can kind of go, you know, in and out of the screen a little bit. But it does have these kind of beat 'em up elements to it. Although a little bit more focus on the platforming aspect than, you know, than your typical beat 'em up game. But yeah, this is tricky, and the goal is to beat Stage 5, up to and including Stage 5. Yeah. Those missiles are kind of pathetic. Pew. 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 We'll get clarification on all these things, but or on all the goals. Kind of wrote them rather succinctly just to fit on this layout here. But if we go to after this is over, we're going to be posting all the goals on speedgaming.org/super16. So just go ahead and check that out, and we'll clarify anything that needs clarifying there, as well as talking about the starting and ending points for each of these two. Yeah, so for each of these games, the other thing that you will need to know is exactly when to start and stop the timer. It's usually pretty obvious, but we like to be pretty specific. So in the coming days, we'll post the whole game list and goal list, but we'll be getting more and more specific we'll be getting more specific with each of these games about, you know, exactly what screen you're starting on, and what you know, visual cue indicates that it's okay to switch to the next game. Usually we have to kind of feel it out a little bit and just, you know, get a little feedback before we can make that stuff all finalized. Okay, I'll make a note of that too. Yeah, if there's any questions that come up, that just let me know and I will write this stuff down so we can talk about it with the team. So I'm not just like making a decision right here on the air without consulting anybody. So our next game is Home Improvement. So this is one that you might have missed when you were playing Super Nintendo back in the day, but this is, I think, a surprisingly good platformer that I just think was not on people's radar. I think that you know, nail gun or staple guns versus dinosaurs. I mean, come on. You don't remember that episode? Where he was like, I'm going to shoot this nail gun at the dinosaur. And Al was like, I don't think so, Tim. Yeah, but anyway, this is a pretty This is pretty fast moving. Shoot in 8 directions, or I don't know, maybe I don't think you can shoot. I don't know if you can shoot diagonal down, but actual Jurassic Park. Right. I mean, that's the thing. Licensed games, especially ones that are based on something that you would not think that one needs to make a game out of, are usually pretty dubious back in this era. Licensed games are often the worst, you know, for lots of reasons. But I think this one managed to end up being pretty playable. Do the growl, why don't you? That was awful. You got 8 weeks. We got 8 weeks to practice the Tim the Toolman sound. Uh-oh, we got a chainsaw. Watch out. More power. This was actually what happened 65 million years ago that made the dinosaurs extinct. It's not very well documented, but it's a historical account of the last days of the dinosaurs. Tim Allen is in the chat. We better be, because he's doing commentary with us. He and Michael Jordan are going to commentate this race. Oh, gosh. Yeah, well, I don't even know what the plot of this game is, though. I don't know how this happened. Oh, look at that. There's look at that flex. Yeah, okay. Set completed. This is going to be a short goal. Set 1. Beat set 1. Tim Allen flex. All right, next game is right there on the screen from Activision. If you've seen Activision in the news a lot lately, it's because of this game. It is Pitfall: The Mine Adventure. This is going to be an entire game, full game run. Pitfall: The Mine Adventure. Yeah, this is a pretty good game. Right, is all the pre-title screens seem to show the name of the game. It's not a thing that I had really noticed until I started doing these Super 16 races. The mummy. Right, the health bar. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's pretty creative. And that's a great way to climb ropes, too. It's just very good exercise. When you swing your feet side to side as you're climbing. And that's how you go down a rope. Right, they make the characters so large, and relative to the speed of your movement, you just cannot see what's coming up ahead. We've had some games like that before, and that is tricky from from perspective of a player who is not, memorized the levels. But yeah, I mean, it's a speed run, so eventually there won't be any surprise what's coming up. This is the animation is really good in this. Like, they didn't have to to go through all these details, all this detail in the animations, but they did. Yeah, maybe the sound is low, but I'm, doing my own tech here, so it's hard for me to balance the sound with each game. Ooh. Ugh. I like the death animation. And the little idol just points which way you should go. When you respawn, the idol's pointing which way to go, so you don't forget. That's very clever. I just like the way when you die, you just kind of fall over. Like it's the end of a long day, and he's just fallen into his bed to take a nap. There we go. So yeah, beat the game. Pitfall, beat the game. Next on our list. Uh-oh. Just get right into it. Wario doesn't mess around. It's Warios Woods. We're going to do round game. There we go. You're going to start at round 1 and beat round 25. And I believe we are going to let you... Uh-oh, what's going on here? Just lagging a little bit. If you game over, something like that, you can go back to that screen and start from wherever the closest point that you've already beaten. So yeah, this is a game. I actually played this mostly on the NES. The two were released at the same time, although the Super Nintendo version has a lot more features that the NES version doesn't. And they were. This was like very close to the end of the NES's life cycle. It might have been the last official NES release, but the important thing is Super Nintendo game is what we're playing here. And I don't know. I think it's a little bit better. I think this version of the game is a little bit better. But yeah, this is a game where I think that the people who really have the knack for this will go a lot faster than the people who don't, because I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot of movement compared to your stuff dropping from the ceiling type puzzle games. There's quite a lot of degrees of freedom because you can climb, you can pick things out of piles, you can split piles up, you can kick things over to other places. You can grab things and hold a stack and let the thing fall on top of the stack if you want the bomb to reach the thing a little bit sooner. Last official game of North America. Yeah, that's Wario. This game came out or they released this on the Nintendo, but we were already into Super Nintendo by then, so it was kind of a weird choice for them to do that, to release it on both. But yeah, this is basically it. I mean, you're just doing this as the stacks get bigger and bigger until you've beaten round 25. I always like a speedrun. I like a speedrun where you're not necessarily practicing specific routes so much as practicing a style of gameplay. And so I think that this one is interesting for that reason. Oh, we're a little bit cut off on the side, aren't we? I just noticed that. Okay, there we go. Next game. It's Konami, so you know it's going to be good. It's the Animaniacs. Boom. They are zany to the max. There's bananas in their slacks. So we're beating 2 studios. Required to sing the Countries of the World song. Yeah, in the 45-second lead-up time to this, you have to sing the Countries of the World song. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. Like a password. It's just a bunch of faces. Just make it as difficult as possible for kids to write the password down. Right, yeah, a bit different. Mm-hmm. Where's Tim Allen? Wasn't he on Animaniacs? Those bowling balls? What is that? What are those things? It's like a movie studio, so anything can be part of the game. Like, anything is fair game to show up in this, because, you know, you can make a movie about anything. Moons? Really? Death Stars, bowling balls. There was some kind of Star Destroyer in the background, right? Oh boy, what's next? Bandai? Okay. Okay, that's usually good. Uh-oh. Oh no, we're back in the licensed games again. I mean, back in the licensed... These have been almost all licensed games. This is like 70% licensed games so far. Here we go, though. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now, this is the game called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, not the movie or any of the other variants on this. This is just called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And the goal is to beat Area 2, Area 1 and Area 2. Beat up to and including Area 2. So this one's definitely looking like your typical beat 'em up, although we are all staying in the same Z plane there. So a little bit less to think about than the kind of beat 'em ups where you move up and down off the line and try to, you know, come in on them from above or below. So a little bit more straightforward than that. They're not Foot Clan, they're putties. Not Foot Clan. Maybe they do explode as if they were robots. You got your bow. Oh, you can hit people with the bow, of course. It's fine. You can sing along. It's fine. Oh, keep going. No, no, that's all he can take. That's it. That's all he can take. Goodness. Alright, another Capcom one. This is going to be good. We're getting into the hard games. All the other ones were easy. This is hard from here on out. It's all hard stuff. Pay no attention to X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Pretend that's not on there. This one's set in California. All right now. we go. The hard games block. It's Demon's Crest. Yeah, this one is absolutely worth playing. Excellent game. I love this whole, I mean, the whole series that this comes from is excellent. So it was kind of tricky to decide what to do for a goal for this game. The any percent run would have been about the right length. It would have been about the right length for this, but the level of difficulty of executing any percent, you know, at that level of speed is, I don't think, appropriate for a race where you're also learning 15 other games. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it collect 4 crests. And I think, actually I'm not sure how linear it is. I think the first 2 crests that you get are always going to end up being the same, but I think there's some choice after that. I actually don't know. There may be just an obvious like 4 that you would get, and everyone will do the same thing. Oh, just do the headbutt game. That's what we could have done. Could have just done the headbutt game. That would be a frustrating goal, wouldn't it? The required RPG. How do you know there's going to be an RPG? How do you know? How do you know? Oh, we got a little headbutt there. Break some statues. I can't get over how good the graphics are in this game. Like, they really nailed it there. Yeah, I'm surprised this... Wait, wasn't there a... Maybe not a Demon's Crest or Gargoyle's Quest kind of thing, but I thought that they made a Makai Mora game in recent years. Or maybe it was just something in that style. But didn't it, like 2 years ago there was another... Yeah, it wasn't a Firebrand based game, but yeah, it was the Ghouls and Ghosts sequel. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So not exactly this, but at least something kind of in that series. At least the franchise has not been forgotten, you know. But yeah, something like this where, you know, focuses on you know, your gargoyle, your flying and fire breathing and changing suits and changing body forms and stuff, because you get various kinds of character upgrades in this, which really adds some depth to this. I'm not sure how much that's really going to come into play in our particular goal here, but yeah, resurrection, that's what I was thinking of. Okay, next on the list here. Oh, everyone already knows it. Everyone already knows it. Yeah. Yeah. It's Donkey Kong Country. Oh god, I can't help but dance. It's too good. So we got Donkey Kong Country. The goal is to beat World 4, beat the first 4 worlds, and we're going to be using the all stages rule set. So anything that you can do in all stages category, you can do in this. This was kind of tough just to decide, you know, exactly what kind of rule set we wanted here, because the skill ceiling on this is so high. Once you start getting into into some of the glitches. But I do believe there is still some use of glitches in this to save time, but in general we are going with the all stages rule set as far as what's not allowed. I think this is a hard one. I mean, maybe it's just from a... I don't know. I always found this game really tricky, but maybe it's not that hard, just beating the first 4 stages. But from a speedrun perspective, I mean, like, this is a game that people, you know, spend their lives, like, perfecting. I imagine there must be ways that you can make it hard if you want to save if you want to save time. But it is a lot to learn. Like, four worlds is a lot of stages to learn. So I guess it's hard in that respect. Yeah, and it's another game where the screen moves kind of fast, given like how little lead time you have. I mean, they do pretty good with like keeping the camera such that, you know, the space in front of you, you know, has a little bit of camera time before you run into things. But yeah, I don't know. It still is you still kind of, if you want to just go fast without stopping, you kind of need to know what's coming up. World 4, yeah, I guess that is where it kind of ramps up, huh? This game, the thing about this game is the camera movement always kind of made me a little bit motion sick. I remember at one point I wanted to beat this game and I had to like take some Dramamine because just the way that camera moves was it was kind of sending me. So I don't know, something to bear in mind if you feel really weird after you play this game for a while. You're not alone. If you feel really weird after playing DKC. But yeah, this one's great. There was no way we could pass over this game. Absolutely has to be in Super 16. Okay, next on the list, second to last game. Second to last game, what will it be? Hey, there we go. Just jumping right into it, aren't we? It's Final Fantasy III, better known as Final Fantasy VI, if you were, looking at the Japanese version, I guess. And so here's our RPG. I think a very good one. A lot of people would probably say this is the best RPG for this console, although I think that's something that we could debate all day and not get to an answer. But Final Fantasy 3/6. The whole game. Nope, we're just going to beat Vargas. Beat up to and including Vargas. Play from the start of the game, defeat Vargas. This is going to be a long goal. This will probably be the longest. I mean, for people who don't get just, brick walled somewhere on one of the other games, this will probably end up being the longest of them. And we're doing this without the rung warps. You are going to do this, you do this as if you were going to, I forget what they actually call the category, but as if you're actually going through the whole thing. In the past, we have had people who didn't want to do the whole set, and so they would just either learn the last half of the games or the first half of the games and just kind of play along during that part of it. But yeah, if you want to be the official winner, you do have to play all 16 of them. Yeah, the thing about this game is it was a little tough to come up with a goal for it just because everything kind of necessarily has to be long. I really couldn't find a good way to start from like a save file. I was originally thinking of maybe we have like some kind of race file, you know, so people go through this. Did I freeze, or was that? No, it's good. Yeah, you know, maybe like a race file to skip past some of this automatic stuff, but there just wasn't a good spot to do it. So we're playing. Yeah, the intro takes a while. So this is a little bit of patience, but I think that after DKC, you'll probably need, you probably need a little bit of a rest. Glue your thumbs back on. Bathroom break time. I mean, maybe. Just get a wireless controller so you can page through these things. Yeah, you have to do all 16 games if you want to. I mean, if you want to officially like finish in the race and get your time counted and whatnot. But, you know, nothing stops people from just playing along and just picking the games they want to play. I mean, that's fine. It is kind of fun to just... There's going to be a bunch of people all learning these games, and you can join us in the Discord and chat about the games and exchange tips and get better at it. And if you want to just learn a few of them, you'll still have plenty of other people that you can, collaborate with as you're doing that. A lot of people use the Super 16 race as just kind of a jumping off point to decide what games they want to work on, because it kind of gives you a sampling of a bunch of things, and then afterwards you can pick what you really like from that and work on that one on your own to try to get a leaderboard time. Yeah, if you want to join the race room and just not... Yeah, you have to finish all 16 games if you want to, hit done in the race room. But anyway, so Final Fantasy 3. Good stuff. See, the home improvement leaderboard gets some love. And our last... It's another Mickey game? It's another Mickey Mouse game? No, it's not. It's the freaking Lion King. Playing on easy difficulty. It's almost like another home improvement game. There's a little bit of overlap, right? Yeah, any percent is it's the whole game. Playing on easy, but even so, this is a very challenging run. Yeah, quote unquote easy. I hope he does the growl. Cool. They're both, well, both of those are good. Cool. Yeah, fighting those, yeah, there's a trick to manipulating those, hyenas, to manipulating the hyenas. It's something about jumping and landing a certain distance away from them, forces them to not charge at you. I don't remember what it was. At some point, I was trying to learn some speed strats for this, and I remember that manipulating those things took some doing. I know, this is a great game to learn. Really, just so many people recognize this game, and it's just a lot of fun. It's colorful, and a little bit of variety to the gameplay. Just yelling at monkeys to get them to throw you different directions. Great stuff. So that's it. That's the list, the Super 16. So right after the broadcast ends, I'm going to get this list posted to our website, speedgaming.org/super16. I'm going to put that link in the chat. Link in chat. There you go. And remember to join the race. All you do is, on the day of the race, you just show up at racetime.gg. about an hour before the race begins, we will open up that race room and just join that race room, and we'll get going in there. The race kicks off at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on June the 11th. That's a Saturday. You've got 8 weeks from today to learn these games. You got to do the games in order. Yes, people do play these blind without any practice. People do play these Super 16s blind for sure. Usually these are people who have are willing to commit the entire day to it. It does take some endurance, but we definitely have had people do that. And I don't know, some of the lists is harder than others. This one, it might be, I don't know. This might be a hard list to do blind, but you certainly can try. Kind of depends on where you are as far as your blind racing skills, to be honest. So yeah, these games all kind of were just generally in the vicinity of like the latter half of 1994. But we reached a little bit out. I mean, just because we also kind of wanted to balance out the different genres and make sure that we weren't, missing something that we really wanted to get in here. So it's rough. It's rough. Yeah, late 1994 is approximately where we are. Yep, let me just recap the rules one more time. All of these goals, you're going to... you got to complete the games in the order shown. From all these goals, you start from a new game, and the goal ends when you played up to and including the stage or the boss fight that we have specified in the goal. So if we say World 4, that means beat up to and including World 4. You have to beat Worlds 1, 2, 3, 4, if that's what the goal is. You can play on... basically any form, emulator, flash cart, or original cartridge, or, a SNES Mini kind of thing. Just make sure you're avoiding emulators that are known to be bad, like a Z-SNES or something like that. You can usually, if you look around, speedrun.com or RaceTimeGG usually have some sort of explanation about what emulators to avoid. But if there's any doubt about whether your emulator is good for this or not, come to our Discord server, and if you go to that website there, it'll be a link to the Discord server. So come on into that Discord server and chat with us in the Super 16 channel, and we can answer any questions that you have about any of these. We're going to be playing the North American versions of these games. And in general, if we didn't specify the difficulty in the goal, just assume it's the default difficulty that the game begins at, unless we specified otherwise. In general, we're allowing all glitches unless we've specifically mentioned in the rules that we don't want to allow certain glitches. So, for instance, in Final Fantasy, we don't want to do the wrong warp glitches that make the game really short. We want you to play without that. And what else was the other big one? How am I missing this? Oh yeah, in Donkey Kong Country, we're going to play with the all stages rule set as far as what's allowed and what's not. I don't remember if any of these other games have major glitches that we need to be concerned about. Okay. As far as codes go, the only cheat codes that we allow are ones that give you more lives or more continues, or codes that let you continue, or codes that let you stage select in order to return to a level in which you game overed. So you can't go past something that past where you've beaten, but any stage that you've reached by normal means, it's okay to use a code to get back to it, to continue from there if you game over. And any setting that you can change that gives you more continues or more lives is acceptable, because we want people to not be stymied by any of these games. We want you to keep moving forward in them. Let's see, no turbo. And in between games, you gotta wait 45 seconds before starting the next game, and that's to allow people who are playing this with different means to be able to be on the same footing when it comes to like doing your game switches, because emulator game switch is instantaneous, and if you're putting in an actual physical cartridge, that takes time. Also, some of these games you want to configure your controls, or you need to go into the settings to adjust the number of lives or something like that. We don't want you to have to rush through that. So make a little like interstitial split in between each of these games that counts 45 seconds, or just set up your own little 45-second timer, however you want to do it. But once you've achieved the goal of one of the games, wait 45 seconds, and when that is up, you can, activate the next game. I mean, you can switch into the game and do your settings stuff, but then wait on whatever screen we're saying that you're going to wait on, like the title screen or something like that, or the character select screen. We will specify what the start points are on the website. Today I'm just posting the games and goals, but we're going to, like over the next couple of days, we're check back there again, and we're going to gradually fill in all of those games, like exactly what screen you're starting on, and exactly what the end point is defined as, like when this text appears on the screen, or when you see like the screen fade to black after such and such happens. Something very specific, so that everyone is splitting at the same times. Typically, we do have someone who keeps track, or makes a spreadsheet that people can use to keep track of what their personal bests are in each of these games as they're practicing. So it is important that we all agree on what the timing points are for that reason as well. But look for that. Go, join our Discord server, and that'll get posted at some point, and we'll, people can kind of see how everyone else is doing and get some sort of sense for how long this set of games is going to take. I imagine this is going to be maybe our longest one yet. These are typically around 3 hours for these, but I think this is going to be much closer to 4 for the top finishers, because we've got some long games in here. Let's see. That's about it as far as the general rules. Yeah, I think I covered everything. Any other questions before we cut here? Yeah, and thanks very much, Yogariel, for playing these games. I think I have the easier job between the two of us, to be honest. Why does that hippo look so smug? Good question. All right, well, that's it. Get practicing. Join us in the Discord. Once again, I'll get that link posted in here.